Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and the first thing is, guys, okay, this shirt right here is not Versace. This shirt is Marshall's, okay, and it's $12. I say Marshall's because it sounds fancy, but you guys know, okay, I'm still same boring investor guy. It's not fancy clothes. It just looks fancy, but it's still Marshall's, okay? But in this video, guys, I'm gonna give you the 5 things you absolutely need to know before you buy a house. And this saved me a bunch of money, a bunch of time, and a bunch of mistakes when I bought my very first house. Now, by the way, I bought my first house at the age of 24 years old. That's 8 years earlier than the average person that buys a home at 32 years old. And I also paid off my home at, guess what? 24 years old. Now that means I paid it off 40 to 41 years earlier than the average person who's 65 plus still paying off their 30-year mortgage, okay? That's the average. I beat the average by a large margin, not by, oh my gosh, you're so smart, but no, just by knowing the right things to do. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you those things right there. And by the way, again, guys, I'm not saying this stuff to show off. I'm telling you this stuff to basically tell you what I know so you can do it and do the same exact thing. I'm not special, nothing special here, okay? Same guy, but you're able to do these things once you actually know how this stuff works. Now, I guarantee you one thing. These 5 things, you have heard them before, but the 5 answers I'm gonna give you to these 5 questions are gonna be very different from what you hear from banks, your friends, your neighbors, and anybody else on the internet, okay? Because this is not normal what I'm gonna tell you in this video. And as always, like this video, it helps a lot. On the top out, also subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified. It is free, so it does help out a lot too. So subscribe, and I post videos every single week about money, real estate, and in some way it's gonna make you or save you money. Now, the very first thing, guys, is this, okay? I was having a conversation with my neighbor, and he tells me, Tommy, it is such a good idea that you bought a home right now, being this young and in this market, because I truly do believe that in the future, houses are gonna get so expensive to the point where no one is going to be able to afford them. Now, by the way, my neighbor is in his 70s, okay? So he's like this old-fashioned guy with these old-fashioned beliefs and so on. But let me tell you what this sounds like, because he's not the only one saying this. A lot of people are saying this. Houses are getting very expensive. Your salary can't keep up with it. So in reality, most likely at one point, you're not going to be able to buy homes anymore. So everyone is going to be in a shed somewhere. Now, obviously, this puts you in a spot of, hey, I need to take action right now. It makes you compulsive. It makes you have to go out there and buy a home as fast as possible. Now, Tommy, you bought a home at 24, but at what age do you think you should buy a home? I think it's not an age thing. I think it's a needs thing. So you buy a home when you need one, okay? At what age do you buy a car? When you're 10? No, when you need a car, when you qualify to get a car, okay? The point is, you buy one when you need one. I bought one at 24 because I need one. I know where I'm gonna be for the next 5 to 10 years, and it's right here, okay? So that's why I bought this home right here. Now, here's what I will say about rushing to buy a home, because basically prices are getting too expensive. Use common sense here. This entire thing is a game. In a way, it's a market game. So if you have something, if you're selling something in your store, your imaginary store, and you raise the prices and people are still buying it, you raise it again, people are still buying it, you raise it again, people are still buying it. What does that show you? Basically, people are going to continue to buy if you raise the price anyway. So naturally, you're gonna raise the price more and more and more. But there will be a point where basically, hey, the price is too steep. I'm paying way too much money here, and the average person is gonna say, hey, I'm actually not gonna buy whatever you're selling. So naturally, if the price is up here, now no one is buying, what has to happen is basically the price has to come down. So guess what? The prices are going to go down. But do I think, and do I believe, for example, that the price of real estate right now is gonna go down because it's too expensive? The answer is a tricky question to answer, because we printed so much money that we devalued the value of our money. So in reality, prices naturally got inflated. and that money is still out there. So this price, although it is a lot higher, it's not like it's higher in value. It's just higher in the sense that the asset had to go up in value because more money is in circulation. So overall, what I'm saying is this: I would not impulse buy a home believing that you won't be able to afford a home ever, because that's not true. In a market, that just doesn't work, okay? And although, for example, in the year 2000, like houses were like $119,000 versus today like $300,000, the buying power, the salaries, everything is a lot more different. So don't just use, for example, numbers to tell you, well, this is out of control, this is not gonna work. No, there's a lot more variables in there. There are interest rates, the mortgage rates. There's a lot of things going on to kind of like put the number there. But in reality, if no one can afford it, no one can buy it. And it's never gonna get to that point in reality, if that makes sense. So it's better to wait to buy what you need when you need it than to go ahead and say, I'm just buying a home right now because I'm never gonna be able to afford it, okay? No, you wait and you buy it when you need one. Be smart about it. Don't impulse buy something that costs so much money. It will ruin you if you do it incorrectly. Now, the second point, guys, is gonna be not being prepared when you actually have to find out exactly what is the home price you can afford, what's the monthly payment you can afford, and like exactly what type of house you're supposed to be looking for. Now, I asked a friend a few days ago, I asked her, well, how much money do you need for your down payment? And she said, Tommy, I don't know that information because in reality, I don't know the price of the home I'm gonna buy because I don't know exactly how much money the bank is going to lend me. Now that sounds like a smart answer, and that's why she's building up her credit score. But in reality, when you base your personal budget on the budget the bank is gonna give you, that's not a good idea, because the bank has an incentive to lend you as much money as possible to basically make the most profit as possible from you. And by the way, whenever the bank lends you this much money, gives you this mortgage, in reality, they don't hold on to that mortgage for 30 years. That makes no financial sense for them. They grab that mortgage and they sell it off for a quick profit. So their whole incentive is, hey, we want to make money from all these fees involved in this mortgage, and then we want to go ahead and basically package it and sell it off to make even more money. So their whole goal is to lend you as much as possible, not to lend you an appropriate amount so you can basically pay it off early, be done, save money on interest. That's not what they care about. So here's the idea. Before you buy a home, before you go into the bank, what you want to do is basically find out exactly what your budget is and have your own personal rules. The rules I follow is the 33% rule on a 15-year mortgage. And I also save up at least 10 to 20% for a down payment. 20% saves you money on the PMI insurance, private mortgage insurance. That means you don't have to pay that much money, few $100 every single year, and it's not for you, it's for them. So this benefits you a lot. But if you can't afford that, 10% is going to be fine for a down payment. And why a 15-year mortgage? Because if you limit yourself to a 15-year mortgage, that's also going to limit the houses you can actually look at a lot more cheaper. And on top of that, if you only grab 33% of your monthly income as a budget. So for example, if you make $4,000 a month, multiply by 0.33, 33%, that gives you a budget of $1,320. So a month between the mortgage itself, the insurance, the maintenance, the taxes, HOA fee, everything, it should not exceed $1,320 a month. That means that you still have like 67% of your money to put into whatever you want to do, whether it's investing or to pay extra towards your mortgage to finish a lot faster. And that's amazing. So how do you find out your home price before you walk into the bank? The answer is, well, you go on Google, you type in mortgage calculator, you click on, for example, the second link, the bank rate one. And for this, I already know the numbers, okay? So the numbers are $170,000. Putting down 20% on a 15-year mortgage, which raises it up at 5.73%, which is basically the average interest rate right now. But it basically says, hey, I'm only gonna pay $1,305, and my budget is gonna be $1,320. So that puts you within budget. But this obviously doesn't include, for example, maintenance in here. Now you might say, Tommy, well, where I live, houses go for $300,000 or they go for $400,000. The answer is, well, that might mean a few things. You save up more money for a down payment, or for example, you move and buy somewhere else, or for example, you look in your area, look outside of that area, like for an hour commute, and you buy outside that area and buy at a cheaper price. But this means instead of being like 30 years into a mortgage and still not paying it off for some people because of refinance, you can be done in 15 years, or if you pay extra money towards it, you can be done in 7 to 10 years, and you're done a lot earlier. So the point is, do your own budget. Don't rely on the bank, because their morals and incentives are not towards your benefit, they're towards their benefit, which is business, by the way. So don't take it personal. Now, the third point is, guys, don't let government incentives, for example, like interest rates, play a part in your purchasing decisions. For example, I can't imagine how many people went ahead and bought a home when interest rates were at like 2 or 3%, just because it said this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and they went ahead and the impulse bought a home because interest rates were so low. But in reality, if interest rates are low, it doesn't mean you can still afford that home. Or for example, if interest rates are high, it doesn't mean you can't afford the home. So in reality, whenever the rates go very low, usually they're doing monetary policy to try to motivate people to spend more money, including on homes. Whenever it goes slightly above higher, it tries to slow down the market by having people say, hey, that's too expensive, I can't afford it. And most people can't afford it. But if your numbers fit and your budget is set and you know you can basically afford it, it's okay to buy a home paying 5% or 6%, because we're nowhere near, for example, 1981 October, when interest rates were basically 18.45%. Like 6% is not that crazy. 4% not that crazy. 5% not crazy, okay? But the point is, don't just buy because rates are low, and don't not buy because rates are high. Buy because you can afford to buy. Don't let these things shift your mentality. If they're there, you can take advantage of it, great. But only because you're ready and you can take advantage of it, but not because that's the reason you're actually gonna do it. I remember I read, for example, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And he always said, for example, he said, whenever you buy, use government incentives as the cherry on top, not the reason you actually do the deals, because those things can be taken away and you never know what's gonna happen. Well, not here because it's like fixed rates or whatever, but you buy because you can buy. Don't buy like a $500,000 home or $300,000 home and then you can't afford it, but you're like, but rates are low though, right? That's not a smart idea whatsoever. Now, number 4, guys, is, well, whenever you buy a home, it's gonna be your most expensive purchase ever, but at least it's gonna be an investment. And because you're gonna be there forever, you might as well buy something you actually like and are basically super happy with, okay? Now, this is true in a way, but it's also an excuse in a way to have a lot of people buy homes that are way too expensive that they really can't afford, just because they believe we're gonna be here forever, so doesn't just like buy it, okay? But in reality, again, the average person stays in a home for 5 years, then they usually sell. So buy a home, again, you can afford, not a home that's basically, oh my gosh, the nicest thing ever, okay? But overall, what I will say is this: a home is not an investment. And if it is an investment, it's a very crappy investment, be it all, okay? Because in reality, think about it. An investment is something that you fully comprehend and understand. And on top of that, protects your capital, so the money you put into it is safe. And on top of that, it gives you a good return on your capital for taking on whatever risk you're actually taking. So let's say, for example, a home might make you 5%. Let's be generous, let's say 8%, right? But then you have inflation, that's a big part of it. Then you have, for example, the expenses of the actual mortgage, like the interest rate that are actually involved in there. Then you have repairs. Then you have, for example, you're remodeling the property. What you basically have, and taxes, what you basically have are a bunch of phantom costs. So whatever money you're actually making from the price actually going up every year, in reality, that's being taken up by all the costs associated with owning this property. So in reality, your real return is going to be very crappy versus what you could get by investing into a boring portfolio like we do and making 8 to 12%, okay? So real estate in that way is a crappy investment. So what's the point of actually buying a property? The way I look at it is, I didn't buy this property right here as an investment. I bought it because I knew for a fact it's gonna save me a lot of money, for example, every month, because the average person spends like 30 to 40% on shelter. Well, I don't have that anymore. On top of it, it's gonna give me security. Once I own this home, it's my home. So if anything happens, like at least my cost of living is so low that I can just get whatever job it is and kind of just manage everything. And no one can take it away as long as you pay your taxes and your insurance, of course, okay? But that's basically it. Home, in reality, what it really brings you is a bunch of security. Don't look at it as an investment. Although in reality, in the end, like 30, 40 years from now, it will be like a decent investment. But as an investment basis, it's not really that great of an investment unless it's like a rental property in a sense. Then that math is a lot more different. But my point is, don't justify buying a home because it's a once in a lifetime thing, it's an investment. No. Buy a home you need, okay? And buy the home you can afford. It's the best thing ever. If I went to the bank, honestly, and I would have like asked to qualify for a loan, I could have qualified for a massive loan, bought this massive property, and in reality, what I would actually have is a massive liability for the next 15 to 30 years, and that's not really what you want because all that money is taken out of your pocket every year. I'd rather buy something that I'm actually happy with, for example. I can afford, I'm good, I'm comfortable, but in reality, it's done, it's paid off, and I don't have to worry about it anymore whatsoever. Now, number 5, and the last thing here is this, guys, okay? I'm waiting until the market shifts, until we go from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And by the way, this idea comes from the idea that real estate agents, because they're professionals and they can basically are qualified to sell you a home, that they also must be qualified to read into the future. The answer is no. Like, no one can predict the market. Like, yeah, we had, for example, a crisis, I think it was like in the 1930s when it came to housing markets, and we also had the 2008 crisis. But in reality, those things that happen that are crises and market shifters and a lot of things, you can't predict them. So again, whenever you buy based on your budget and because you're ready. You don't want to be sitting down for years waiting for the exact moment when something's going to happen. Well, one big thing is, for example, as long as you do everything correctly, when the time comes, you'll have cash on hand to take advantage of opportunities. But the point is, if you're trying to have cash on hand to take advantage of an unknown opportunity that you don't know when it's going to happen, it's ridiculous. And to ignore everything else is available, okay? It makes no sense. So my point and the overall point here is obviously you can't predict. You don't know. Nobody knows. So if you are right now, for example, in a seller's market or in a buyer's market, but your math, your budget fits and you're like, I can buy this home right here, and you're obviously not paying above the appraisal price, okay, then it's okay to go ahead and buy that home. And by the way, the obvious time not to buy a home is when you're getting involved into bidding wars, when people are paying way beyond what the home is actually worth, and when a home just went, from example, from $10 to all of a sudden it's like $40 or whatever, like 4 times the price. Like, that can get very dangerous. So whenever you're like in a crazy market and you know when it's a crazy market, then that's when you kind of slow down. You're like, okay, maybe I'll wait a little while it calms down, or I'll look over here, because it's not like every market is going to be the exact same, okay? So that is it, guys, okay? And these 5 things right here shifted my mindset and helped me go ahead and say, well, I'm not going to buy based on the bank. I'm not going to wait for interest rates. I'm not going to wait for markets. I'm not going to buy something super expensive. I'm not going to justify. I'm going to buy something based on my personal budget, because again, in the end, personal finance is personal. And by the way, for some quick information here, I bought this home for $130,000, and I bought it here in Puerto Rico, and I put in, for example, $40,000 to $50,000 to actually remodel it and bring it up to the standard that I actually wanted at. And to me, it's a great home, it's good. And you might say, Tommy, but where I live is so much expensive. Yeah, I get that, but even when I lived in New York, you had homes for like $600,000, but you also had homes in Connecticut for like $200,000, $300,000. So you kind of trade a commute for saving a ton of money. It all depends on what you're willing to do. Just because what's available is what's available doesn't give you an excuse to basically make a bad financial decision. That's my point. And what I want for you is to be able to buy a home, pay it off in full, and be fully done, and save a ton of money and have security. So that's the math that I give you, and these are the points that I give you. Is not based on, for example, I'm gonna make money when you get this loan, okay? That's why banks give you what they give you, okay? But thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, and comment down below with the word house so I know you're a real person when you comment and you made it all the way to this point of the video. On top of that, up here is another video on the 33% rule when you buy a home, and over here is my face. Click and subscribe, and as always, long-term team out. My Instagram is at TommyBryson, and reach out to me there. As always, peace.